Hey, John here with Prime Studios Photography, and I have been getting into some pinhole stuff lately. This was actually my first pinhole camera, so I thought I'd show you guys. This is the Ilford Obscura. It's a large format camera, does 4x5. Retails, I think, for like $100, so it's a pretty good deal. But let me show you. So there's actually a whole bunch of stuff that comes with the camera. You get this whole book about how to use it, loading the camera, all that kind of stuff. This is definitely a very slow process camera, but it is kind of fun, and I'll show you at the end of the video one of the photos I've taken. Here there's some stickers. Like here it has to put on the camera. This is your field of view. So it looks like about 90 degrees or a little less than 90 degrees. It has this basic light meter or equivalent light thing, equivalent exposure disc, which you can put together. And it's really, I really don't like it at all. Because basically it's saying, hey, is it sunny? Is it cloudy, kind of? Really cloudy? This is so imprecise, it drives me insane. So thankfully I found a better way to do the metering. So for whatever reason, mine came with, I guess, two things of paper. What it's supposed to come with is, this is just regular darkroom paper, like where you turn a negative into a positive. I've seen others, they have a 10-pack of Delta 100 film, 4x5 film, and then another pack of positive darkroom paper. Oh wait, hold on, here we go. So here's my film, which I actually have not shot with the film. Interestingly, I've only shot, because I wasn't sure if it'd work and I really wanted to do it, was these. So these are J Lane dry plates. These are 4x5, and they go, he makes them up to 8x10. His name's Jason. And these ones are glass, hand coated with an emulsion that he makes, and an ASA or ISO of 2. Although the way I shoot them and develop them, I do it at 3. And I'll show you one of those. That's actually one of the photos I shot. I'll show you that in a little bit. But first, let me show you the camera here. Okay, so this is the actual camera, and it's literally just a box, but it's a very clever and simple design. So you have your 1/4-inch tripod mount here. This is the shutter on the front, and you literally just move it out of the way, and it's got these magnets that hold it in place. And that's your pinhole right there, that itty bitty little hole. And apparently that's chemically etched, and I figured out it's an equivalent to f-stop 248. So that's how you open the shutter and close the shutter. And then to load film, you have to actually take the camera apart, and it's got these magnets that hold it in place. And it's just a box. So you absolutely have to use a couple of things. You have to use a tripod, and you have to take a large changing bag with you. So this is a large changing bag here. You have basically this big, light, tight bag, and it's double walled, and you put all your camera and your film in there, and you have these little holes for your arms that wrap around your arms, and you stick your arms in, and you load and unload the film. So yeah, you're gonna look kind of foolish and weird. But let's say you're out and about, and you're like, okay, I took a photo, whatever. I need to load my camera. So you put the camera in the bag. You also need your film, and then you need this other box that comes with it. This is your exposed box, and it's a double box here. So there's this part, and then there's this, and I got some glass plates in there that I've developed already. But this is what you put your exposed photos into after you take them out of the camera. So you take your film, the exposure box, the camera itself. You take this apart inside the bag. You open this up, and on the upper right is where there's a notch in the film that you can feel on the edge with your finger, as well as with the plates. You basically just lay it flat in there with a notch in the upper right, and then you put it back together. And that's after taking out the previous film or glass that you've shot, and you put it in here. And you definitely want to have some tape on there. So it's a pain in the butt. It takes like at least 5 minutes, in my experience, to do all this. And you'll be doing it in public probably, so you might look kind of weird, but you do get some pretty cool photos. Let me show you one of those. So here's one of the plates that I took, and you can see it didn't expose the edges because the edge of the camera was pushed down on it. But this is one of those plates that Jason made, and I developed it in the darkroom in a tray using a film developer called Kodak HC110, which I actually like more than the D76 I've used in the past. It's a liquid concentrate, it's easy to use, it's relatively inexpensive, you can mix it at room temperature. So I'll leave a link to all this stuff down below. But yeah, this is me in front of the Alamo, and this was a very bright day. There's actually people all around me, and you can see I'm kind of ghosted a little bit because I opened the shutter, walked out in front, stood real still for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that, and then walked back and closed the shutter. There's absolutely tons of people around me, but you can't see them because it's such a long exposure. And so I did a 1:31 mix ratio on the HC110, and I developed it, I can't remember how long, a few minutes I think, but I could see the picture form in the darkroom, and you could do it under a red darkroom light, which is really cool because the emulsion's not nearly as sensitive to red wavelengths, so it's okay to do that. And then I use Fixer to fix it. Very carefully washed it a lot because the emulsion is quite sensitive and can rub off. And here's that notch I was talking about on the top. So when you're loading it blind, you can feel around the edges and go, oh, there's the notch, and then load it into the camera that way. So one of the biggest issues I've had with this camera is getting the exposure correct because it's such a tiny, tiny hole. And at f248, I don't have a camera or light meter that goes anywhere close to telling me what that exposure should be. But I found something recently that should help me a great deal. And that's this website, mrpinhole.com. And I didn't create this. This is some other guy. And it has this pinhole exposure guide. So I can just input the camera's f-stop, which is 248. And this is what's called an exposure equivalence chart. So what I can do, you set your ISO to whatever the ISO of the film is in the camera, and you can do this using your DSLR, even your phone camera, really. If your phone camera can tell you what settings it's using, or you can download a light meter app or even a pinhole light meter app if you really want to. Let's say you just are using your camera, you can put it on like spot metering if you want, and so you can take a light reading from a very specific surface and make sure that that brightness level is correctly exposed. So let's say your light meter on your camera is telling you, oh, it's f16, 130th of a second. So you go, okay, well, at 130th of a second, if I'm at f248, that means 8 seconds for the pinhole camera. So I keep that shutter open 8 seconds. Now that would be a pretty bright scene. So let's say it's telling me f16 at 8 seconds. Well, at f248, that's 33 minutes and 41 seconds. Meaning these different settings will let in the same amount of light. So you can have this chart, you can print it off or write it down or just take a screenshot, whatever works for you. And I've double checked with my light meters to make sure this, on the equivalence, and it all appears to be accurate. So I'm really happy about this. So yeah, that's the Ilford 4x5 pinhole camera, and I've enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna keep messing with it to work on the pinhole video that I'm eventually gonna put out for you guys. But I thought this would be kind of cool for you guys to see. So if you're interested in any of this stuff, I'll leave some links down below where you can purchase all of this yourself. And if you have any questions, of course, just let me know in the comments. Thanks.